Hi, I'm David Laws and I'm known as the famous flower man here on the Gold Coast in beautiful sunny Queensland, Australia. I have been reading flowers now for, 32 years. I am known as a psychic flower man, a psychic flower reader, same thing. And the art of flower reading is something that dates back a very, very long time. In fact, I believe it dates back to the ancient Aboriginal dream time. And psychic flower reading is a very, very old ancient art, and it incorporates and utilises the process of psychometry, which is quite a common way of being able to elicit your guidance or your messages from the universe. Some people use jewellery, some people use items. I personally like to use flowers. Flowers are very, very beautiful because I like to connect with the diva essence energy that every flower, every leaf, every tree, everything that grows in the garden is connected with nature. And of course, everything has a diva essence energy attached to it. And that's what I actually connect in with, along with my spiritual vibration, I guess. My spiritual gift connects to that diva essence energy. And it's through that process that I actually get my messages to bring through in my readings. It's a really fascinating thing because I believe I'm one of about 4 or 5 people in the world that read flowers for a full-time living. And although flower reading isn't terribly common, it's not uncommon. But if you haven't heard of it, if you have the opportunity to attend a spiritual church, you will often find a person there, a clairvoyant or a medium, taking the stage and doing a flower reading for the congregation. That's where I started, and I'll tell you a funny story because people often say to me, David, where on earth did flower reading come into your life? How on earth did you end up reading flowers? And this is what I do for a living. It's nuts. Anyway, it goes back to around about 32 years ago, when I just started off into this beautiful work. And I had a lady come and see me one day. Her name was Denise. And I'll never forget it. I used to live in the western suburbs of Sydney in New South Wales, and back in those days it was very, very uncommon to have a lot of people doing readings, and of course psychic work has gone through the roof in the last 30 odd years. We've come a long way, thank goodness. But this one Thursday night I had this lady come along. Oh my God, I'll never forget. She came along and back in those days I was sort of reading hands and I was just trying to attune my gift to something. I didn't know whether it was through palmistry or through card reading or numerology. I was sort of fiddling around. I was a young guy in my early 20s and didn't really know how I could grasp onto this gift. But anyway, I did this reading for this lady who came to me, and you will laugh because she was the quintessential Aussie lady from the western suburbs of Sydney, and she had 3 loves in life, this beautiful lady. She loved Winfield Blue cigarettes, she loved Tic Tacs, and of course she loved spirituality. And they were the 3 things that worked together in a combination with this lady. I thought she was nuts. Anyway, this lady came and saw me, and when I finished her reading by holding her hand and closing my eyes, I said, honey, do you have any questions? And a real Aussie ochre accent. She said, no, love. She said, I've got no questions, but let me tell you. She said, I just reckon you're not going to be reading flowers you're not going to be doing readings like this anymore. And I said, what do you mean? She said, love, I'm telling you, you're going to be reading flowers. Well, of course, I laughed and I said, plain or self-raising? She said, not the bloody flower you cook with, love. She said, the flower that grows in the garden. She said, that's how people do readings. I thought she was on drugs. I had no idea what she was on about. But anyway, she said, love, I'm telling you. She said, come over to my place on Tuesday night and I'll show you how to read a flower. Thought the woman was crazy, but it turned out that she was at the time one of Sydney's finest trance mediums. Very sadly, Denise has long since passed from this planet. But you know, she actually became my great teacher, my great mentor. I went over to her place and we formed a lifelong friendship, and right up until the day that she passed over. But that's where it all started for me. And over that 32-year period, I've been in and out with utilising the gift. I always knew it was there. I come from a corporate background. I'm just an ordinary guy who had an ordinary job and an ordinary family life. But I always had this niggling voice in my head that just used to tune into things and tune into people, and every now and again I could see things for people. I never thought I'd do anything with it until probably around 7 or 8 years ago now, when my life took quite a dramatic turn in another direction, as it does with a lot of people in this work. And that's the time when I thought, you know what, I think it's time that I pursued something more meaningful to my life. And I've got to tell you something. It will come to a point in your time, at some stage. It could be when you were younger, middle age, maybe when you're older. but most people will find something in their life, a time when their true mission, or what we call dharma, which is spelled D-H-A-R-M-A, it's a Sanskrit word for life purpose. It's almost like your meaning of life. Why were you born? What was your thing? Why were you born? Why were you put on this planet? Luckily for me, I now realise that my mission and purpose in life is to guide people on their spiritual path and journey, on your spiritual path and journey, not mine, yours. I'm here to assist you through the beautiful art of flower reading and what I love to do, and that's what I do. And I can't tell you how much joy, how much love, how much laughter, how much awesomeness my life is filled with now, because I've chosen to go down this path. And it takes guts and courage to jump off the plane of normality, jump off that spectrum and delve into the world of the unknown. But for me, it's been a boon, and that's what I've decided to do. So flower reading is what I do. I pull flowers out of paper bags for a living, but I cannot tell you the joy that it's brought into my life, and the people, the friends, the friendships that I've made, and the people I've connected with. It's been absolutely awesome. So at some stage or another, I do hope I have the privilege and honour of being able to meet you, to work with you and your friends, and I'm sure you'll be very, very enthralled and intrigued to see how it all works. In my work, in my flower readings, people say, what are you going to get? Do you get stuff about your past, your present, your future? Do you know what? You get a little bit of everything. You might get stuff about your past, your present, your future, aspects of your personality, aspects of the people, your loved ones that are around you. It's a whole mishmash of things that come through. But all I do is just pick up the flower. I call the flower my spark plugs. It just gets me started. And once I've started to channel, bang, it just comes out like a torrent. And it brings a lot of joy, happiness and bliss into people's lives. And oh my gosh, the testimonials I could share with you about the stories that I can tell you, which I'll tell you about in another clip if you'd like to see that. It's just been phenomenal. So that's what it's all about. Flower reading, pretty crazy way to make a living, but a fascinating way to make a living. And it's a fascinating way for people to gain an insight into their life, because when I do read a flower, I actually don't know it's your flower until the end of the reading when I'm in a group session. So that's what makes it even more intriguing for everyone. So I hope you all enjoy it, and I do hope we cross paths sometimes. Bless you and thank you.